Oh man, here we go back with another one.
Yes, sir and ma'am, we are back. And we're back with a special guest. And as we always say, he's the most recent, so he's the most special. We got one of the OGs of this Arizona hip-hop scene. Guy's been in radio. Guy, he spits bars from time to time. You know what I'm saying? We got none other than Roknowledge in the building. What's up, Rock?
What's up?
Hey, man. I'm chilling, man. Appreciate the invite. Yeah, hearing OG in front of my name, I was still kind of hits, but then I'm like, yeah, you know what? You've been doing this for close to 20, so you know, I'll take it.
Yeah, you've been in it.
I appreciate it.
You know what I'm saying? Veteran.
Yeah,
you know
absolutely,
what I mean? For
absolutely,
sure.
absolutely.
So appreciate you coming through.
Hey,
let's get right into it, man.
Yeah.
Let's kind of talk about the history of Rock himself, man. Kind of how'd you get started into the to hip hop, man, and give us your story.
Yeah, music's always been a big part of my life.
Okay.
Growing up, my parents were really big into like Gloria Estefan and the Miami Sound Machine and stuff like that, and then discovering hip hop at like 8-9 years old was when I kind of first really like heard it.
Okay.
And something clicked.
Okay.
And thankfully my parents were very open-minded when it come to what I wanted to listen to.
Right.
They weren't trying to hear it, but
because at that time it was like, nah, bro.
Yeah, because this is like 89, 90,
right.
Up in that era, in that time frame, and
NWA.
Content-wise, they weren't really working with it, but they never really put any clamps on me from going my own way. So, yeah, man, just fell in love with the music early on, and just progressing through like junior high, high school. Like, I was a dude in high school who always had the Walkman with the dope tapes.
Okay.
I was one of a couple Wu-Tang heads at my high school.
Okay.
Because Wu-Tang was life.
Right.
And just that was kind of like, it was my escape always. Some of my fondest memories revolve around music, like songs or albums, like to always take me back to a certain place in time. And then going to high school, I clicked up with a couple people who were in a group called Pantheon.
Okay.
And they also knew some other cats who were doing the same thing, and we just kind of clicked up, met up with all the Pantheon dudes. We all became a bigger crew called Collective, and then Collective kind of morphed into the Society of Invisibles.
Right.
And that
yeah, we've heard
that run the TSOI times was crazy.
Yeah.
We had a movement out here. The eye was everywhere. We were a large crew.
Okay.
And aside from the actual like artists of the group, there was just a lot of people like homies that didn't
background guys. Yeah.
Graffiti heads, b-boys, whatever.
Right.
And we had a reputation that was warranted because we were a rowdy bunch.
Yeah, we've heard the story. You know what I'm saying?
We were rowdy, but we were very. I don't always believe that we were always the escalators of the situations. It's just when we come in the numbers that we come in.
Right.
You mess with one invisible, chances are you're messing with 27 other invisibles. So
it sounds like a movie or something, bro. Like,
man, it really could be. It really could be.
It.
Like just the stories we have between recording sessions, house parties that turn into recording sessions, police showing up, certain members of the crew crawling up into the attic.
Oh shoot!
And just recording shit on the fly. Those moments, man, and then we got a look from Baby Grand Records. No shout out to Chuck Wilson from Baby Grand. Because that guy's a dickhead.
Okay.
But we got the deal. In hindsight, we never should have signed that deal.
Okay.
Because I think that kind of led to a lot of unnecessary.
Was it a bad deal? Do you think you should have shot around some more?
No. Just imagine you get a certain amount of money to do something, and you have, 10, 11 guys all fighting over, not fighting, but, trying to get their hands in the pocket. Trying to get a little bit of bread. And
for sure.
A lot of the money was reinvested back into studio equipment. We had a tour bus that was wrapped.
Okay.
Which is pretty dope.
That's fire.
And
especially at that time too, because that's like damn near legit status.
Yeah, that was 2006-ish.
Okay.
When we had
Even
that.
Still.
Yeah, so I mean that whole era out here in Arizona was different.
Yeah.
Sure. If you were here and you were around it, if you were a part of the scene, it was just different. Yeah. Like it was just the mixtape. It was mixtapes.
Yeah.
It was people with physical copies of CDs. Yeah. It was just so different from now.
Yeah.
Like
for sure.
and then there was venues we could actually like perform at.
Yeah.
There was a handful of them, not a lot, but there was some that we were able to do stuff at. So that was cool. But yeah, I mean, TSOI, we did a lot. We got to tour. We toured with Nonfiction and Jedi Mind Tricks, which was incredible. Had a blast. It's always for me as a spoken word artist in a crew of like dope MCs.
Right.
To midway through our set. I mean, big shouts out to Arlo. He always made it a point that we were going to do Roknowledge, which was my joint on the album.
Right.
Which is a total like stopping point from like the hardcore hip hop shit, because you go into me doing like dropping some like spoken word poetry type shit.
Right.
But being able to like step out on stage out of state, and the crowd vibing with you,
right,
like that's a rush, man. Like holding the crowd in the palm of your hands, where they're hanging on your every word, at a hardcore hip hop show,
right,
right. And then I dropped my last word, and then Indrid Cole would come in, because he had a verse at the end. He would come in and spit a verse, and then it's right back to business.
That's fire.
So that was always fun, man. Like doing those shows out of state, met a lot of people.
Yeah.
Got to see a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. Seeing Ill Bill nearly kill a promoter over paper plates happen. That was incredible. It was hilarious. But it's just part of it, man. Like we did a show at the Knitting Factory in Hollywood Boulevard.
Okay.
The whole TSOI on Hollywood Boulevard.
Fire.
Man, that show.
That's fire.
Was a shit show. Like not between us, just the vibe on Hollywood Boulevard. Mm-hmm. There was, drunk people everywhere walking around drunk. There was one dude who got so sloppy drunk, like he literally like fell down, busted his shit. Fire and ambulance came and took him.
Oh, geez.
There was a girl who was her birthday, and her friends brought her a birthday cake. So we sung her happy birthday on the corner of Hollywood Boulevard, right? It was a moment, man. Like, just things I never would have got to experience, had we not, got into, making music. It's as far as just being a lover of the culture, because the culture is everything to me.
Right.
I'm an old head. I admit it. I'm so very stuck in my ways. I'm stuck in the 92 to like 98 is my niche era.
Yeah, for sure.
Ain't nothing better.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's given me so much too. Like I can never repay the culture back for everything it's given me, experience wise, memories and whatnot. So it's been a fun ride.
That's fire. So go ahead.
I want to go to your spoken word stuff. First of all, what made you get into doing that, and then do you still do it?
So the first part, how'd I get? Honestly, I didn't really pay attention to my writing until senior year of high school. Mm-hmm. My high school English teacher, who I still talk to and I'm friends with, shouts to Mr. Nielsen. He told me, there's something here with your writing, so you should pay attention to this. Because I used to draw. I used to draw really well, and that has since just vanished. I can't draw stick figure. No,
you can't draw nothing, really.
That's
interesting.
Like it's
just went away.
That's
crazy. That's just like So, paid attention to it a little bit more. Outside of graduating high school, it just started just writing. Not really any, thought or format to it. I was just writing. Never wanted to be an MC. Never, ever. There's too many of those guys already. So, Being a rapper was never my my aspiration. However, I always do get the people label me that way sometimes, and I understand why. Because I don't do spoken word into the traditional aspect of what you would normally see from like a slam poet. Right. A lot of mine is kind of punchline based because I do, there's like punchlines in my shit, so I can understand why. And the way I deliver things, I can get it that my delivery comes across as I'm trying to be an MC. I'm just doing me.
Right. Of course.
So yeah, so like I said, I had a collection of like poems, and I recorded with my man Plan B. We recorded like all of them, and I wish I still had it because there was some good stuff on there. I remember some of the pieces, and just handed it out to people, just for whatever. And then, getting more involved with TSOI, and being in that environment, surrounded by all the creativity between the MCs, the producers, and there's just constant creative energy.
Yeah.
I was writing like page after page after page, and we were going to do an album, me and Arlo, called Strawberry Suicide, which we never got around to doing. And then I started writing and linked up with my man Lost Perception from the council.
Yes, and Lost Perception.
That's fam. That's my brother. And my man Blaze Rock, because we were all really tight, and decided we were going to work on a solo project for me, which in turn ended up being called Soul Reflections, which is available on Bandcamp. If you want to go check it out, it's free. You can listen to it for free. You can buy it if you want. What, name your price, I don't care. Right. It's roknowledge.bandcamp.com. And it's just a collection of stuff from, I want to say, 2007 to 2009, 2010.
Okay.
There's a joint on there called Housed Within, where it's essentially, I'm writing from the perspective of a bullet.
That's interesting.
There's there's another version of Roknowledge on there that has Deontay from Cutthroat Logic, as opposed to the version on the TSOI album with Intrid Cold. Okay. I also handpicked 4 MCs to do 4 interlude tracks. So my man Khalik, or Ocean, whatever he goes by these days. Whatever my man goes by these days. Blaze did one. My man He Just Trife. My brother Judgment from TSOI is on there. I got my man Low is on my outro. And then my homie Skunk One and Sal from Soul Camp are on the intro track, which is completely in Spanish. And then DJ M2's on there doing cuts. DJ Grappler's on there doing cuts. Okay. I listen to it from time to time, and like it takes me back, because I'm remembering where I was when I wrote some of that stuff, and then also it makes me, because I don't write that way no more.
Okay. All
and
right.
So my the evolution of me as a writer, I don't write that way anymore, and I think I'm better then than I am now. But that's just me being me, because I am my own worst critic. Okay. I'm never really satisfied with anything that I do.
I think most creatives usually are. You know what I'm saying? Because you're always searching for some sort of perfection within you. You know?
Oh, yeah.
So you're still writing then today?
Yeah. Not in the frequency that I would like to or want to or should be doing. Back in August, right before I turned 41 on the 1st of September. So I just decided I was going to write once a day, every day for the month of August, whatever it was, whether if it was a paragraph, a sentence, and I stuck to it. I've done that before, but I've never actually stuck to it, because I would get into points where I didn't want to write that day. Yeah. And there was a handful of the pieces that are in there where I was like, okay, old man still got it. Got to shake the rust off a little bit. Yeah. Right. Me and Lost Perception, he did reach out to me a few months back with just it was a text message. It just said Soul Reflections 2 with a question mark. I was like, I had completely stepped away from doing anything like music related in like 2016 or 17, whenever the first annual hip hop festival that Justice threw, the one that was at the Dodge Theater downtown, the very first one, it was like 16 or 17.
Yeah, I thought I say 2016.
My final performance was on that stage.
Why was that?
I was at a point where I was just kind of burnt out, and I had been doing it for so long, and it wasn't fun.
Okay.
You know, it wasn't fun like it used to be for whatever reason. It was just probably just me being the, you know, antisocial person I can be sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'd always said that was my bow. I'm out. And everybody's like, "Oh no, you'll be back. And I was like, "Nah, I ain't gonna come back." And then when Cisco sent me that text, I was like, I'm like, we never did do a follow-up because we always talked about doing a follow-up. Because actually, the follow-up album that I was gonna do was called The Writers Guild. What happened in turn was I linked up with the Writers Guild,
right?
And the name came from the group name came from my album title.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I named us.
Yeah, let's get into that, man, because obviously we had Miranda on, and you know and we had Rand on.
Oh yeah.
Good friends with Rocky, man. And
that's my guy, man. So proud, so fucking. I'm
killing. No, go ahead. Go in on it, bro.
Fucking proud of Rocky, man.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
The transition. When I first met Rocky, there was, well, in person at least. This is back in 2000. When, God, it was 2010, 11. It was a long time ago. There was a website called Arizona Beats.
Oh, yep. I remember.
Rocky Tirade, I think he was J-Rock at the time. R-O-Q.
He was J-Rock.
Yeah. He was a dickhead on that website. Him and his homie, I think it was Rico. Was it Rico? I don't know. They were assholes. And they pissed a lot of people off. A lot of people. Because they were just talking shit. And I appreciate it, though. Like, I appreciate the shit talk. Because I talk a lot of shit myself.
Just about, like, other rappers?
Yeah,
Rocky's got a level 10 confidence, bro.
Yeah, like, as he should.
As he should.
He is Super Saiyan when it comes to the bars.
He is.
So, I remember Chino XL was in town doing a show at the Loft on Mill Avenue.
Okay.
Showing my age again because the Loft doesn't exist no more.
Right.
And I had never met Rocky in person. And I was walking to the venue, and there's this kid. I say kid because he wasn't 21 at the time. Standing outside, and I saw him, and I was like, "You're such and such," and he's like, "Yeah, I'm Rock." You know, we said what's up. Like I didn't really have any I didn't have issues with him.
Right.
It was just whatever. Seeing these internet dudes in person.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't.
Right.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yo, man, can you get me into the show?" And I'm like, "This is Tempe, dog. I ain't got no pool on Mill Avenue."
Right.
Like if we were at like, the Big Fish Pub or maybe. This is Mill Avenue, bro. This is college. This is college. ASU's right there.
Right
dog.
there. Yeah.
Like ain't no one sneaking up in this bitch.
No, they're not playing that.
So, I think he may have ended up getting in somehow through Chino. I don't remember completely.
Okay.
But that was my first run-in with him in person. And me and Rand had met years prior. I met him for the first time at the Hidden House. And me and Penny...
Yeah, shout out to Penny.
Penny.
Shout out to Penny.
Yeah, me and Penny had known each other because of AZ Beats. And I actually met him for the first time in person, I believe, when Sha Money was doing those producers conferences downtown.
Yep. I remember.
Those were a moment, too. Jesus, you talking about heavy hitters in the state of Arizona? Everybody who was like...
That was a crazy time, bro. Like, I've talked about that. Like, I love talking about that time because, like, it was crazy because that was, at that point, that was the biggest spotlight that I had seen for Phoenix, for Arizona, and you had, like, literally almost bidding wars. Like, people were trying to find the guys from Arizona, and obviously you had Willie, you had Juice, now Richie Evans, you had Mike Rashid, who was Sin Q back then. You know what I'm saying? Like that was
shout out to Sin Q.
Shout out to Sin Q, bro.
We did a listening. We had a couple listening sessions for Soul Reflections privately, and Sin he reached out. I was like, "Yo, just give me the address," and he pulled up. Like, so I was like, I that meant a lot to me because we had always been cool,
right?
But we didn't really run in the same circles. but musically they were always dope, and just the fact that he came and he sat and listened to the whole project, that was that was dope. And seeing where he's at now,
I know it's crazy.
Like, motherfucker's the Hulk.
Yeah,
like he's the Hulk.
Nah, and it's crazy because he was getting ready to get signed, and then was gone.
Yeah,
like we was like, yo, where did Sin go? And then he popped back up and was like straight like,
bro,
what's up, exactly y'all? We doing workout videos now. Yeah. Like, I was like, is that Sin Q?
That's
right
exactly
there?
what it was. Like
he disappeared, bro.
One day I was on Instagram and I'm like, I see this dude and I'm like,
yeah,
look like Sin Q.
Right.
So I click on the page and I'm like, I'm like, motherfucker's the Hulk now.
Yeah.
like,
yeah. Back.
But yeah, so that producers conference, I mean, everybody was out here, and that's where me and Penny met for the first time.
Okay.
I had known Dave. Me and Dave go back to like 04, 05 at the Paper Heart for open mic nights. I've known back when he was D Smooth. I know Dave when he was D Smooth.
Okay.
So yeah, and then we had there was this idea to, form a group, and it was myself, Random, Rocky, Dave, and I was like, yo, I'm working on this, I had this idea for another album called The Writers Guild, and I was like, it's kind of a dope name. Like, we're all like prolific, we're all like high caliber, we were high caliber with the pen, so
for sure.
So we linked up to the Writers Guild. Had a few songs. Definitely didn't do everything that I would have liked to have hoped we could have done.
Okay.
And mind you, I walked away twice. I walked away once, and I ended up coming back around like 6-9 months later.
Okay.
And those sessions, that time with those guys, and just watching their creative process, and like watching Rocky Tirade lay on the floor with his eyes closed, no music, no headphones, just laying on the ground, and then it's his turn to record, and he goes in there and he fucking slaughters the entire mic booth.
Crazy, bro.
Meanwhile, like Dave's over there like penning a verse, Rand's over in his room writing a verse, Penny's over there writing a verse. I'm putting stuff together, and here's Rocky. We think he's asleep. And he just comes. He just
straight gets up like
a damn like a damn Jedi. He gets up like a Jedi, man. Like, what are you, dude? And then he goes in there and he we were recording songs out of a closet.
Yeah.
And it was just, that's just what it was.
Yeah.
And then we found this studio called Pyramix or Pyramid. I don't know if it still exists, and if you've never been there, I'm going to try to explain it because it's going to sound completely so far-fetched you're not going to believe it.
Okay, I'm ready for this.
So it's like somewhere around like 55th Avenue between like Peoria and like Cactus in a residential neighborhood.
Okay.
I believe it's a general area, and you pull up, it's just a house. But like you can see in like in the backyard, there's like this like pyramid, like top of a pyramid. I'm like, what the fuck is that? So you walk in through like you walk in and then you walk down this tunnel. It's like not a tunnel, but like a walkway.
But it was like enclosed.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you're in
wait. So you walk into the pyramid.
Yeah, essentially.
Okay.
And it's like it's shaped, and you go up in there, and it's like I'm talking like a full on like mixing board, booth. There's like a lounge area. Like you could have like a listening party there. There's like a smoking area, and that was like our like quote unquote like we did a lot of recording there.
Okay.
I don't know if it still exists.
That sounds like a really cool place, though.
Yeah.
So it was like in like somebody's backyard?
Yeah. Because like in that area, there's houses that have like, they're on like big plots of land.
Yeah. So, I'm trying to think of the area.
Like, everybody's going to be like, well, what is this?
I might just drive through
People
there.
are going to be driving through the
neighborhood.
I'm
going to be driving through. I'm looking for a pyramid, bro.
It was like, it was just, it was cool. It was kind of like our spot, and we would be up in there and we did our song. I want to say Penny and probably Rocky did some solo stuff there too.
Okay.
That's fine. But yeah, man, like the guild it was fun. Like those guys were all, like I said, they were all favorites of mine. To be included as a part of that. Not that I've ever like seeked validation, but like, when you're in the two different crews that I was a part of, then everybody is so talented. Like to be a part of that and no one questions it.
Right.
Because as an artist, you always want to be accepted. You always want people to like react to what you're doing. You always want to get some level of like, oh, you're dope, or et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So it was always fun. And like I said, those guys they're family to this day. Like where it's all love. Yeah. I support what Dave's doing with Just Give Me Five is incredible. Fire. Like that's gonna be huge. It's gonna be even bigger next year.
Just the beginning. For him.
Ran continues to impress and
a star, bro.
Oh yeah,
I really mean that. Like,
no, I do too.
He's a star.
And if anyone deserves it, it's him.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause he is the most humble, genuine, kindest.
Yes.
For sure.
Like that's family. Like I love that guy. He is family. And Penny's family, Rocky's family. So it's. I miss it. Like, don't get me wrong. I miss those guild days. Like I said, I wish we could have actually done an album. But the handful of songs that have come out with me, being a part of the crew and the stuff they've done outside of that, I think it's incredible.
Yeah.
Who knows what's going to happen down the road if they'll ever do anything.
Yeah.
It's tough. I mean, Random being that Rand does what Rand does as his profession.
Yeah.
It's hard for him to, dedicate time away from the brand.
Yeah.
Because that brand is. That brand is, your livewitch.
Yeah. And it's transcended music at this point, right? Like
oh my God, man.
It's got the wrestling, it's got the gaming, the Twitch, what I mean?
Yeah, the gaming stuff, like the nerdcore and all the chiptune stuff. Like it's not my world, so I don't fully understand it, but I'm like, these kids love you.
Love them.
Like that, you have a niche audience, and you want a niche audience, because whenever you drop something, every single one of them is going to go pick it up.
And he's owned it to the point where and maybe I'm wrong, because like you said, I'm not too deep into that part of it, but I feel like, and I may be wrong, he's like the face of it.
Yeah.
Like when you think nerdcore, the first thing you think is Mega Ran.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's fine.
And just, seeing, because we're in various group chats, so we talk every day.
Yeah, Dave was telling us that. Yeah,
we talk every day. So just getting photos of what Rand's doing, or he'll send us like videos of shows, or even just seeing stuff on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. And all that, these conventions that he's performing at, or these shows, and I'm just like, man. Like, and then he goes on the road for 30, 40 dates. Yeah. Comes home. Yeah. Somehow manages to record like 2 to 3 albums. How he does it, I have no idea.
I don't know.
And then he's right back out on the road, promoting, performing. He's on the road right now. Yeah. I think he's in like Pittsburgh right now or something. Yeah. So, his ascension. Like I said, it's a proud of him. He deserves everything he's gotten,
for sure,
and everything that's going to come his way, because he's definitely hasn't even come close to what he can fully achieve.
No.
And then aside from just doing the nerdcore and like the chiptune stuff, like when he's on his when he's in what I call it rap, like when he's rapping, when he's rapping, because Rand knows when it comes to me. Like, I like all the stuff he does, but my favorite Random is when he's rapping. Because I'm a rapper. I'm a rapper guy. Like, that's what I want.
Like, that's what I loved about when he did Two Hands Up. Like, I was like, oh,
right.
This is when Rand is in that bag.
Yeah.
He's untouchable.
Yeah, he does it so well. Like
with ease too.
Yeah. There's one of my favorite Rhyme and Reason memories from doing the radio show. It was our first anniversary at 101. We were at 101.5, and we had invited up. We selected artists to come up and freestyle. Rand was one of them. My man Nose. iRock was up there though. The OG of the OGs.
The OG of OG.
Who I call my OG.
He's everybody's OG.
Like,
sure.
The funny part is, like, iRock is the first person who referred to me to someone I've never met before as an OG out here, and I was just like, dog, coming from you,
right?
Because you are like, to me, like you are Arizona hip hop, like period. So you know, so we had him up there, and Rand gets on the mic, and we have audio somewhere. He's just doing, because when Random freestyles, he just freestyles.
And he's incredible.
But he's freestyling about like whales and dolphins communicating via like sonar and all this other shit.
What year was that?
2000. We had our 10-year anniversary was in 2009.
I was gonna say like 2009, 2010.
2009.
I think I remember that joint too.
Yeah, we're on air, and he's there, and I'm over here on my side of with the mic, and he's just going, and he just starts talking about dolphins and whales communicating via sound. I'm just looking at him like, with his face. This is a face I make. I'm just like, what? I'm like, and then he's done, and we go commercial. I'm like, bro, what? He's like, what? I'm like, you was just rapping about whales and dolphins communicating like via sonar and shit. He's like, yeah. I'm just like, asshole. And I mean that with the fullest amount of respect. Like, you're a dickhead for that.
Right. Like, yeah, you just went levels above. Yeah. Like, how?
Like, who thinks of that?
Yeah. No,
if you've ever been to a Random show, every show that I've ever been in, I think he does. I think it's a part of his show. He does a freestyle portion where people in the crowd will just hold stuff up.
Yeah.
And he raps about it.
Yeah.
And it's always dope. Like, he doesn't fumble.
Nope.
It's new rhymes every night, because you never know what you're going to be. If you go to a Mega Ran show.
Yeah.
Wherever you're at.
Yeah.
If he's coming to your town, or if he's in Arizona, go see Rand perform.
For sure.
Go see Rocky perform. Go see Penny perform.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah.
That's fire, man. I want to talk about how did you get your name? I look, because it's either like, yeah, man, I just thought of it, woke up, thought of it, or it's a fire story to it. Right? Sounds like it'd be all right.
It's funny.
Okay.
So this is probably, Jesus, man, 03, 04.
Okay.
I was hanging out at my boy Judgment's crib, like 16th Street in Osborne. It's me, my man ALX. Shouts to ALX. There's a Circle K on the corner, so we're just walking. We're walking to the store. We're walking back, just joking. And ALX. I think ALX was like, "Yo, we're gonna call Kenny Shade, because my man Kenny's a little bit darker."
Okay.
So we're gonna call him Shade. And then they look at me and they're like, "You're just rock." Because you're just a rock. You're just there. Like, you don't move. You're just rock.
Okay.
And I was like, huh. All right. And then, like, it's just from that point forward, it was always just, what up, rock? Rock.
Okay.
It was always ROK. It was never ROCK.
Right.
Was never trying to be the Rock. Was never trying to, make a play off of the Rock, because there is only one Rock.
Yep.
Yeah, that's just what it was, and it just kind of stuck. Mm-hmm. I think prior to that, everybody knew me as Mike or Michael, my government name. Mm-hmm. I had gone by like Jern AZ for a little bit. Okay. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking.
Okay.
Doesn't even make sense. Yeah, it really doesn't.
I mean,
it doesn't.
You said it.
It doesn't make sense at all. Other than the fact that I was a writer in Arizona. Like, all right, whatever.
Okay.
But yeah, no.
I got you.
So yeah, it was just rock, and it just kind of stuck and just ran with it.
Okay. Yeah. And then obviously you did the track, and then it kind of extended.
Yeah, Roknowledge. It just it was just an extension.
It's a fire name though. Yeah. It's a very hip hop name. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, there is. It's dope, except for when your name gets submitted to someone that does imaging for the station. If you don't, imaging is like the dudes that does all the, you're listening to KKFR, and they're saying names like Matlocks and DJ M2, DJ Element. So my name is Roknowledge.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Well, the dude reading the paper thought it was Roknowledge. And Roknowledge.
When you see it in your brain, like you're like, okay, yeah.
Well, it's funny because I don't see it that way.
Right.
But you saying it, I can understand how somebody would do that.
Like to me, when I see it, it's just Roknowledge. But if you try to explain to somebody, I could totally understand how something could be like Roknowledge,
right?
Roknowledge,
right.
And the dude doing the imaging for the station, and he sent it back to us, and I'll never forget. Like we were all in the studio, and they played it, and the room just died.
I bet.
Like I just wanted to crawl up and do. Yeah. Why everybody get their name said so cool, and mine got fucked up. I was like the sad kid.
Yeah. Right.
Whose name was said incorrectly on the radio.
Man. So did that didn't make it?
No.
Okay.
Oh no.
Yeah. Y'all had to.
Oh no. Yeah, it never got out.
Okay.
It's still to this day. Like if I mention the Roknowledge story to like Matlock's and some of those guys, they're like just like that too. Roknowledge. Like
with pure confidence,
like that is like, I'm gonna nail this name.
The strength on the row was crazy.
Like this guy's gonna be so happy when he hears this. No, sir.
Yeah.
Bro, he probably got done with that. Was like, I killed that.
Right.
Yeah.
Through the mic. I bodied that shit. I ain't never said someone's name so good. He put some flavor on it. Over seasoned it, sir.
Oh, bro. That's hilarious. Man, you gotta have a question, bro. You gotta ask me something.
I miss those radio days, man. Radio's fun.
Let's talk about the radio stuff, man.
Yeah.
How'd you get into that and
the whole business? So it's everything when it comes to me being involved in radio, on the radio, all goes back to my big bro Matlock's, who is my OG.
Okay.
And if you guys have seen a lot of episodes of Just Give Me Five, a very constant and prevalent name mentioned by a lot of individuals is Matlock's.
Yep.
Matt is, man, how do you sum up Matlock's? Matlock's is one of, if not the greatest people I've ever met in my life.
Nice.
I owe a lot to him.
Okay.
He's given me so much, given me opportunities. So when TSOI was doing our run, we got to come up to Friday Night Flavors, which was on Power 92 at the time. And there were so many of us, there was no way that everybody's gonna be able to talk.
Right.
And Matt kind of wanted only a handful of guys to be inside the studio, which is understandable because the studio wasn't that big, and it just doesn't sound good when there's 25 people in there.
Right.
So I was one of the ones that was allowed to be up in there, and we got interviewed, and he let me. I got to crack the mic and talk a little bit, and then after that we had all started hanging out through mutual friends with like Carly Hustle, because she started up a night out here called Groove Candy. If you're around for the Groove Candy days, that is a moment in time too. Anybody was at Groove Candy
for sure.
Wednesday nights at the door, clockwork.
Fire.
Yeah, and then so just being around everybody, me and Matt, started talking a lot more. We're both huge hip hop heads. We love the culture. We love the music. Had a lot of similar artists we were into, stuff we liked, et cetera, et cetera. And Matt, basically one day, Matt was like, yo, man, if you ever just want to, come up to Flavors and just hang out, he's like, you have an open invitation.
Nice.
And that's not annoying. You don't normally just invite people to the radio station because you don't. It's got to be a pretty controlled environment.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna take advantage of that, and I did. And I was just up at Friday Night Flavors hanging out for a year, 2 years, like every Friday from like midnight to 4 a.m.
Fire.
And just just vibing out. They would they would let me talk from time to time. If artists were coming into the show, I'd go get them from downstairs.
Okay.
Actually, funny part, Mitchie Slick came through one day with a huge entourage, and we get into the elevator at the station, and it's a glass backed elevator so you can see out. So we get in. There's probably like 25 of us in the elevator.
Okay.
We're going up, and then all of a sudden I just look over my shoulder. We're going down. Elevator dropped. Very slow. It wasn't like. It was
like, wait, what?
It was just like,
yeah.
Very good. There was way too many of us in there.
Yeah,
So we ended up having to split it up into two.
Right.
I remember one night J-Rock from the Beat Junkies was playing at the Loft on Tempe. Matt was like, "Yo, can you drive J-Rock from the Loft to Flavors? He's gonna get on the air and play." Hell yeah. So I was just doing stuff like that, and then he took it a step further. I was like, "Yo, man, if you ever want someone to like do like a show intro," I'm like, "I'll do like a live like spoken word intro." He's like, "All right." Did that a handful of times.
Okay.
And then Matt was going to be leaving Power 92 to go work for 101.5 Jams.
Right.
Flavors wasn't going to be taken, but he called me one night. He's like, "Yo, I'm going to be doing a new show at Jams. How do you feel about being my co-host?" Mind you, no like real proper radio training, because normally in radio you would go you got an intern,
right? Yeah.
Before you even get near a mic,
right?
Intern, you're paying dues, you're carrying shit, you're doing all the grunt work,
yeah, for sure.
And then you still may not get on the mic, you may not even get a full-time gig,
right?
So that was shocking that he thought enough of me, to give me the opportunity. And I was like, shit, hell yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And then we were on 101.5. It was me, Matt, Squeak Boogie, Mad Rich, and then DJ Element.
Okay. Yep.
Was the original lineup. And we had fun, man. We had The Game came through. We had Neil Armstrong, who at the time was Jay-Z's tour DJ.
Right.
He came and played on the show. JC out of Atlanta, super dope DJ, super dope, good guy. Okay. Came up and played on the show. Various interviews over the phone. I mean, this is back when like I remember talking to like Terminology and Torre and all those cats early on. I remember one time my favorite, for those that don't know, the pinnacle, the greatest of all time for me is Nasir Jones. I remember one day I was at work. I used to work off of the 17 in Happy Valley, north.
Yeah.
Station is like 7th Street and like Missouri.
Okay.
Matt calls me. He's like, "Hey, we got a Nas phoner in like 45 minutes. Can you get here?" It's like 12 o'clock. I'm like
12
during the day.
Oh, okay.
I'm at work. I'm at work.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah,
I'm at work.
Okay.
He's like, "Yo, if you can get here,
45 minutes.
If you can get here, yeah." Because in those days, that's when they were doing like they would do. He'd be doing phoners for radio stations around the country, like 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes.
Right.
He's like, can you get here? And I was like, "Yep." Fucking told my boss some bullshit ass story.
Oh, yeah.
Bullshit ass story. And got from North Phoenix all the way downtown.
I mean, that's probably a good 30.
It was tight.
30.
Like I got
30,
there.
30 on the freeway.
Then you got the streets.
Then you got to hit the. Now you in
downtown
downtown and you got to hit the streets.
Yep. So
There's
made
people
it.
walking out here.
Made it. Got to interview Nas on the phone, which was incredible.
That's fire.
And then from that, at some point we got to, me and Matt hosted a Nas show in Flagstaff at the Orpheum. Okay. I saw he was playing, so I just happened to reach out to the promoters. I'm like, "Yo, we do radio in Phoenix. If you guys are looking for hosts, let me know." And they were cool with it.
That's dope.
And Matt's good with Green Lantern, who is Nas's tour DJ.
Right.
So I had, through the connections that I had through the label that the station got for us, I had set up time to get an interview with Nas, either before or after the show. So we're hosting, and right before Nas is going on stage, there's like this little hallway. So he's like walking through, he sees me, he gives me a pound, and then I'm on the side of the stage just watching the show. It was fucking dope. And then after the show, Green Lantern's like, "Yo, you guys ready to come back and do this interview?" I was like, hell yeah. And I'm gonna be flat out. This was not my finest moment in interviewing history. This is probably my worst interview, and I wish I can go back in time and do it over again. Because when I tell you, when I got on that tour bus and Nas is right here, starstruck.
You just froze up.
Froze. I asked one question.
No.
The most generic question. And then I just put my head down.
Do you remember what that question was?
It was just something in reference to the album because he had just dropped Untitled.
Okay.
And it was the stupid base, the cookie cutter question you'd see in like Double XL.
Sure. Right.
Put my head down, and then because Matt was I think Matt's plan was to let me run with the interview.
Okay.
Because Matt knows like I'm like the Nas dude.
Right.
Nah, man, Matt had to pick the ball up and finish the interview. Because I was shook, man. I was shook.
Wow.
Like, the reason why I pick up a pen to write, the reason why, I love this shit so much is you dog. So, the only thing that's dope from that, aside from, meeting him and doing the interview, I was able to get my 12-inch copy of Illmatic. It was written and Stillmatic signed.
That's fire.
Yeah. So,
that's dope.
Yeah.
So you won. You won in the end.
I did. Yeah. I did. And again, like that's just stuff like that never would have happened had Matt not given me the shot.
Yeah.
And it was 10 years because Matt had moved was going to be moving to San Diego, and he had he passed the torch to me I was going to be the showrunner at that point. And we were going to stay on because we ended up moving to the beat.
Right.
And we were on the beat. And, some behind the scenes stuff happened, and we lost our time slot. Literally the weekend of our 10-year anniversary. We had our 10-year anniversary party at the Blunt Club, and then, that next day we got the call that we lost our time slot. So, it was bittersweet. We had a 10-year run.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's just memories, man. Just meeting people, just talking to artists that I respected, becoming friends with, really close with Illa J, who's Jay Dilla's brother. My man, big R.I.P. to the big homie Dave New York.
Yeah, man.
Dave, man, losing Dave the way we did and when we did sucks.
Yeah.
Dave was a dude you would call, and if you needed something, it was done. If you were in LA, he was there. If he was in Phoenix, he always made it a point to reach out to myself, Matt, Rocky, Dave. He was really close to all of us. And he just always showed love, man, from the jump. It was just always, he loved the culture like we did.
Yeah.
He knew that, and he knew that we loved the culture the way he did. He knew that we loved Dilla the way that he did. He knew that we loved, everything the way that he did. Yeah. And he was always so willing to share stories, tour stories, and just little nuggets of knowledge, man. And he was a good dude, man. One time he was in town with Kweli, and they were staying somewhere in the Biltmore area at a really nice hotel.
Okay.
He's like, yo, I'm here with Kweli's band if you want to pull up. I was like, yeah. So I get there and I walk into the room and it's literally clouds of just loud.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, oh, okay.
Right.
So, I had a pocket full of loud.
Right.
Right. And proceeded to, roll up a quarter ounce of some good. And we're all rolling blunts, passing blunts, just
right.
I smoked my entire bag. And I'm
okay.
And I'm leaving, and Dave's in the parking lot.
Okay.
And he's like, yo, he's like, you good? I'm like, yeah. I'm blowed, but I'm good. Yeah, but
right.
He's like, yo, did we smoke all your shit? And I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, let me take care of you. And I was like, dog. I'm like, nah. I'm like, nah, you gotta do that. He's like, no, I'm not leaving until you take this. So he literally gave me the equivalent to what that bag of weed was. And he was not gonna leave that parking lot unless I took that money from him.
That's fire.
I'm like, dog, you don't. He's like, rock. I was like, all right. So
that's dope, man.
Dave was he was a funny cat, man. He was funny. You know, I'm grateful for Facebook memories because there's so many like posts where I'll like be reading through comments and Dave just talking shit. Like I miss the jokes. I miss the random texts from Dave. And it's a big loss, man. It's a big loss for a lot of us. And he was one of the dopest people that we met through this, you know, radio journey that we went on together. And again, like I said, it all goes back to Matt, bro. Like Matt's got stories. You need to get Matt up here.
Okay.
For sure. I got to get Matlock's up here. He's responsible for a lot. He's helped a lot of people.
Yeah, his name comes up quite a bit.
Yes, it does. And like I said, man, he gave me the open invite to start, and then he gave me the opportunity to be a co-host, and forever in his debt, man. That's my brother. That's big bro. We talk every day.
Okay.
He's family. It's every day. So it was fun, man. Rhyme and Reason. That was it was a moment. It may or may not come back.
Just gonna ask.
There's talks. There's some talks about bringing it back
through a radio station, or
that's our first choice. But then we're also kind of kicking around possibly doing it like via Twitch.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's what I was gonna say, man. There's so many avenues. There's so many avenues now that you don't necessarily need the radio, and then even if you don't get directly to the radio, obviously you can bring the show back, and then radio starts paying attention. They're like, hey, where'd y'all? Let's bring y'all back on.
Yeah, because we had a good run. Like our numbers were always good. It was just some behind the scenes bullshit. And if you're familiar with radio, radio is all about politics.
Big politics.
So like I said, it was just I got to go to a lot of shows because of it. We did a turnaround trip. We left here at like 7 a.m, drove to Rock the Bells, stayed for the entirety of the Rock the Bells show, and drove right back. Me, Matt, and Justice from CTO.
That's fire. That's fire.
So much fun.
Those are good memories, man.
Honestly, the shows that we all went to together, whether it was like, Dilated Peoples and J5 over at Marquee, or, just anything, any show that we were at together. Nas and Damian Marley at Marquee when DMX came out and the fucking roof blew off the building. If you were at that show, oh my God, it popped up in my memories recently. That show when Nas was like when he called out for DMX to come out and X came out, like I swear to God, the roof of the Marquee came off.
Oh, I'm sure it did. It had to. Man, they did it crazy.
Yeah.
Favorite show that you went to?
That sounds like one of them. That's for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Honestly, my two favorite concerts or shows they're not even hip hop related.
Okay.
I got to go see Prince.
Oh,
at the Marquee.
Yeah, that at the Marquee.
Yeah,
that's it. Well,
he played the Marquee.
Yeah.
I can't. I mean, because he's such a big star.
I'm gonna take a sip to
that.
Yes. That would have been so cool.
I obeyed the laws of not looking Prince directly into his eyes.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what would have happened. You don't want to look Prince in the eyes.
Yeah.
Didn't do that.
Right.
Okay. The other one I saw Sade at downtown.
Nice.
Man,
nice.
Out of here.
I mean, hip hop wise,
that's bucket list. Is
Sade
right
still doing stuff?
Yes, and she's still fine.
Oh my God,
still fine. Hip hop wise though, I mean, there's the Word of Mouth tour from 2000 that was J5, Dilated, Beat Junkies, OK Player tour in 2000, Smoking Grooves in 98, which was the Fugees, Gangstar, Flip Mode.
Hey, you see, Fugees are going back on tour, bro.
Yeah, Lauryn Hill gonna be 5 hours late to every show.
You think so?
I've seen Lauryn Hill 3 times. She ain't never been on time once.
Oh shit. Okay.
I went to the No Way Out tour. Was that Puff's tour in 97?
Okay.
Went to that. When Wu-Tang would drop Wu-Tang Forever, that show. I remember seeing Redman at Celebrity Theater when he was walking on people's hands throughout the crowd. That was incredible. it's tough to pick hip hop shows. There's so many of them.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've seen some great ones. But like I said, like my two favorite, they're not hip hop, because how do you top Sade and Prince?
Yeah,
they're icons.
how do you do
for
it?
sure?
They're icons. Yeah.
They're on a different level.
Yeah.
I do have a question about hip hop these days. Do you think hip hop is in a good state, a bad state, whatever? Where do you think hip hop is at right now? Do you like where it's at?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I think that they're like, when you got a movement like what the Griselda guys have been doing over the past, few years. And then I also like the fact that an artist like Nas can drop albums at his age, because if you think about it, when we were teenagers, you're looking at people, MCs in their 40s plus, as being over the hill, and they shouldn't be doing it no more.
Right.
Nas, Jay, and others are proving that completely wrong.
Yeah.
There's a lot of young, talented dudes, a lot of young talent. And there's always going to be the cookie cutter. When I was a teenager, it was the Jiggy era, all that, flossy. But you had your Wu-Tangs, your Mobb Deeps, your boot camp clicks. You had the Redmans. You had that other side of it.
Right.
And that's what we kind of have now. You have, your mainstream artists who appeal to everybody. But then you have like the Griseldas, you have the Royce of 5'9", you have, the cast like of that niche.
Even like the J. Cole's and
J.
stuff
Cole,
like that.
yeah. They're still doing, what's more pure traditional, if you want to call it that, but they still have crossover appeal.
For sure.
Which at the same time, when when Wu-Tang had crossover appeal, all those guys had crossover appeal.
Right.
So I mean, I think we're in an okay space. I think that there's great things that are around, and there's great artists and talent, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens, because this is the way the entire industry is changing with stream. Like, it's weird. Like, I couldn't imagine being an artist trying to come up in this climate, because I come from you had to have a mixtape or a CD or something physical to hand somebody.
Right.
Like, when people first started doing like digital download cards, like, here's go this, I'm like, I ain't doing that. Nobody wants to do that.
Right.
And now it's the norm.
Yeah.
You hand somebody a CD, they're like, what am I going to play this on?
Well, yeah.
That's kind of
a lot of cars don't even come with CD players no more. Like, are you handing somebody? What am I going to do with that?
Right.
So it's just kind of it's different. The times are different.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, there's guys out there that are making some really dope shit and doing some really really quality stuff. Like, those Griselda boys are nasty.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, Benny the Butcher might be one of the greatest when it's all said and done, because that dude is just incredible.
Yeah.
Conway's no slouch.
No.
West Side Gun isn't the lyrical monster, but when you package everything West Side Gun does, how do you not fuck with the Fly God? How do you not mess with him? So So it's cool, man. Like I said, and still seeing the older artists that I was a fan of in high school being able to do stuff, and then also with verses. Like, isn't tomorrow?
That's far. Yeah,
isn't tomorrow Kane KRS?
KRS One, bro.
And Kane's gonna have. I think Kane's gonna have DJ Scratch, and KRS is gonna have Kid Capri with him.
Legendary shit.
Like, how do you not want to watch that? Like honestly, man. Like the Dipset and Locks. That the replay value on that versus, I could watch that every day.
Yeah.
Because one, I've always been a Locks fan. I've always loved Dipset. But the Locks put on a clinic.
Yeah.
Like, the Locks took it serious. Dipset was there for fun.
Right.
The Locks put on a clinic.
Yeah.
And they're showmen. But then you think about it, they came up from the guy who is the showman of Showman and Puff.
Right.
Like, he showed them how to perform. And that's why they're so good. And
they can out-rap you.
Bro,
that's like circles around you.
Like, they're not rapping over their vocals.
No.
Like, If they're doing like if Jada needs a punch, Styles is right there to punch him.
Right.
Sheik's right there. It's just
hip hop 101.
It was a clinic.
It's so funny though about that too because Jada was saying forever top 5 dead or alive. Yeah. Nobody was listening. He murdered that. The internet was like, yo, we got to have a real conversation. Is Jada kissing the top 5 for real? It's like,
right.
Consistency, bars, like showmanship.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I love what Versus was able to do too.
It's fun,
how
man.
It came out of basically a want to entertain people in a terrible time, and now look, it's brought so much back. Even you had the Ja Rule versus Fat Joe,
which was dope.
Was dope. You know what I mean? And then that changed a lot of perception of Ja Rule. Like they were like, damn, we forgot Ja Rule was making hits back in the day.
Man, not even Ja, not even that. Like before Ja was doing Ja was like a rapper.
He was a rapper's rapper.
Like CMC, I think was his crew. Like he was gonna be a part of Murder Inc. The group it was J, X, and Ja Rule.
Yeah,
bruh.
Yeah,
right.
Dog, like really?
I wish that would have happened.
Oh, there's a lot of wishes that would have. Trust me.
Yeah,
that's one of them, for sure.
Well, Rock, thanks for coming through, my brother.
Man.
We'll have you on the Spin the Block tour. We're gonna do the Spin the Block probably sometime next year. We're gonna have everybody back on. So we'll have you on the Spin the Block tour. You know what I'm saying?
What's up?
Oh, you know what? Before you go, I gotta ask you this question.
What's up?
On the Instagram page.
Oh boy.
Explain the numbers to me.
Oh. You talking about like when there was like 1, 2, 3?
Yeah, I'm like, what?
Okay, so that goes back to the once a day. It was 31 days to 41 when I was writing one a day.
Okay.
So like the 1 is August 1st, 2 is August 2nd, 3 was August 3rd.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I was on there. I was like, is this the code to like what is this?
Like up, down, left, right, A, B, what?
Yeah. Right.
I was like, I was really trying to decipher.
What is he telling us?
Oh man, I was really, and then obviously you rock knowledge, bro. So I'm trying to figure out, like, you know what I'm saying?
That's funny.
Me and Zeke was over here with calculators and shit. Like,
oh shit, got an abacus. That's great. No.
Before we go to, is there anything you have going on?
Yeah, send out some shout outs and all that good stuff.
Like I said, keep on the lookout. There may be an announcement if things work out correctly about Rhyme and Reason maybe coming back.
Okay.
Like I said, me and Lost Perception have talked about doing Soul Reflections 2. Mm-hmm. There's also the Matt Mania podcast, which we haven't had an episode in a while, but it's myself, T-Call, G1 to the Rescue, Neo X. It's Mega Ran's show, but he's not fully involved because he's Mega Ran and he's doing Mega Ran things.
Right.
So if you're a fan of pro wrestling, pop culture, that's what we talk about primarily. So hopefully we'll get back into a more consistent mode of doing episodes. And then just I don't know, like I just shout outs. I mean, family. My nephews. Sister, moms, pops, big bro, Matlocks, Yaya, all the TSOI cats, all my Riders Guild brothers. There's a lot of people, man.
Right,
I couldn't. No. Yeah. What I always say is like, if you know that I love and fuck with you, I don't need to tell you because you know.
Facts.
So, and thank y'all, man. Like I said, the invite was unexpected. I do appreciate it.
I appreciate you.
I enjoy this setting. I do miss being in front of a microphone on a consistent basis. It was cool, man. Like I said, you had a lot of friends up here, so it's dope, man. I guess it was a good time.
Yeah.
So thank y'all.
No, thank you, brother. And we'll get all your links. We'll have them all scribbled down here. And you guys are gonna click these links right after you hit that subscribe button.
Yep.
Like, comment, and share. It's on you, player.
You guys stay safe. You guys stay positive out there.
And as always, this is The Gray Space. Peace.